Carsen, let's begin with your decision to come to BYU and finish out your football career here. When did that idea first come into play for you?
Well, I mean, once I hit the portal, BYU hit me up, and I got to talk with Coach Kalani and Coach Gilbride and Coach McDaniels as well. And I just the relationship kind of clicked, and just I really liked their coaching style. Like coming to practice, I really enjoyed how they were running things, and Coach Gilbride, and I think he's a really good coach, and I really wanted to learn from him and all his experience he has in the NFL and at other schools as well. And so, for me, it was a no-brainer to come here. It's talking to Coach A-Rod. We're going to be a good tight end school this year, and we've seen that before, and we're going to bring it back. And got all the weapons here on offense as well. You got Jake and all our good wide receivers and great O-line. It's building out to be a great offense this year, and I'm just happy to be a part of it for the season. So,
why do you feel like Coach Gilbride jives with you? What specifically is working in that dynamic?
I feel like it's just a good level of communication between us. I come off the field, he's like, "Hey, you need to work on this," and it's like a level I have the level of respect I have for him, and it's like I'm willing to, when you come in as a player, come to your coach, you got to be willing to learn, and I try to do that with all my coaches, and he's in there wanting to teach me everything he can, and I just try to soak up all that knowledge he has, and he's a good teacher, and he teaches it the right way, in my opinion, and so I feel like that's why we connect so well.
You mentioned the BYU tight end and that role flourishing, and in your phrase, coming back. What type of role do you expect to have in what you hope is a flourishing role for the tight ends this year?
I just hope to get us all on the field. Get me, Ethan, Noah Moyaki, Anthony, all those guys out there, and get out there playing and getting in some 12 and 13 personnel hopefully too, and just get out there, dominate the line of scrimmage, making catches downfield, and just learn from each other and just become the best players we can together. So I'm excited for that, and it's just gonna be a good year. So,
for the BYU fans that are not familiar with your game and what you do best, what would you tell them is at the top of your list and your skill set?
For me, one of my biggest things I've always tried to be elite at is just be a good blocker first and foremost. As a tight end, you think catch the ball, but you want to block first, and that's where you're going to make your money and be a great player. And so I try to be physical and athletic when I'm blocking in space, blocking the line of scrimmage, and then taking that athleticism and then catching the ball downfield and being a dynamic player as well. And that's my goal too, coming here, is becoming that more dynamic of a player and run blocking, but also catch the ball downfield and making plays.
How is your relationship both on and off the field with Jake Retzloff evolving thus far?
Oh, it's been great getting to know him. He's a really good guy, and he's a fun guy to be around, and lots of energy he brings to the team. And I'm more of a silent type leader, and so having him is good, and having him make me bring the energy out of myself as well is good. So I've been really clicking with him, and it's been great to get to know him.
You come from a very established and really, really dynamic program in Utah to BYU. What are the biggest differences you've noticed between the two setups thus far?
Well, there's a lot of similarities, that I would say, because there's so much crossover between the two schools. You don't necessarily think about, if you don't know much about BYU and Utah football, guys that have played there, coached there, and it's, they bring the same level of intensity to their practices. I think we do a good job here of connecting with the players, the coaches wise, and being a player-led team. We had all those things at Utah as well. I know I loved the guys there, being there, my time there, and so. But it's I'm just excited for the new chapter here. But I think there's a lot of good to come from here. So.
At what point does it become not weird to put on blue instead of red?
Well, being at 3 schools, I was at blue in my first school, so it's not
fair point.
It's kind of back to the normal for me, and so I love it. I love wearing blue around and get to wear some of my UCLA Jordans again because they're blue already. So it's been nice coming back to the royal blue.
Carsen Ryan is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Let's talk a little bit about the coaching staff as a whole. Because you've mentioned a few times the right fit. We've talked about Coach Gilbride, but you mentioned Coach Kalani too. What was that initial conversation like with Kalani when you were seriously considering coming back to BYU?
No, it was interesting when I was first talking with Kalani, and then I went on my visit with him. He's such a people's person, and he cares so much about you as a person, and the way he engages with my family and my little siblings as well. When we were at the hotel, he'd sing karaoke with them, or he'd play board games with them, and they'd be talking trash, and my little siblings didn't even know he's the head coach. They were like, when's the head coach coming? It's he's right there. It's what, that's him? I'm yep. He's just you don't, when you see him, you don't think of him as a head football coach, but he's just, because he's such a nice, regular guy. But it's And for me, I feel like that makes me want to have that respect for him even more. Like the way he treats others, it's like, I want to be that type of person. And so it makes someone that you can look up to and someone who can lead by example. So I respect him.
You do have a former teammate in Keanu Tanuvasa that comes with you immediately. What's that like to have that connection as you guys now move into BYU together?
It's been nice. Our lockers like right next to each other over here, and so it's been nice to kind of talk a little bit about the transition and kind of help each other out, get comfortable, and it's been nice having a little bit of previous connections. I got a couple, not a couple, I got a lot of guys here too. I knew from high school too, so it's been a nice transition for me because I knew so many people on the team, and it's been a good transition so far with him too. So
I know it's early in spring football, but what do you feel like BYU is doing best right now?
I think we're doing great at bringing the intensity to practice every day. They ended with a great season last year, and our goal right now is just stack that up and make it even greater. And they worked hard, we worked hard last season, and now we just got to work even harder this year. We can't just expect to do the same thing, get different results. So we got to come with even more intensity and even more want to be the best team in the nation. If we want to win a national championship, that's what it's going to take. So it's just even more intensity than we did last year. So
again, you're new to the program and you're learning the offense. I'm sure sometimes it feels like it's a fire hose and you're trying to drink as much as you possibly can. Where do you feel like you are in the understanding of the offense at this point?
I know with what we've got installed so far, I feel like I'm pretty well established with the offense. I was working a lot with Coach Gilbride and Coach McDaniels, before spring ball started, learning the offense and watching film and getting a lot of stuff thrown at me early on, so I didn't come to spring ball with no knowledge. And so I feel like I'm doing pretty well as far as learning the offense. Still got a few learning curves to make up as far as signals and stuff goes, but I feel like I'm doing a pretty well job.
All right, let's finish with some personality questions. What's your number one hobby outside of football, Carsen?
That's hard. I like a few things. It's either playing video games or playing pickleball. One, two.
You're a pickleball guy. Okay. How confident are you in your pickleball game against some of the guys on the team?
I'm a pretty good player. I haven't played in a while since before the last season, but I'm a pretty good player, so I think I stack up pretty well against the other guys. So
we got to get a pickleball tournament going with BYU football.
That'd be sweet. Let's put it on TV too. Just film all of it.
Throw it on. There's some streaming channel on BYUtv. I'm sure we can find a place for it. Okay, video game of choice right now.
I've been playing it's a role-playing game. It's called Kingdom Come Deliverance. I don't think anyone's ever heard of it, but it's one that I played in the first one right now. The new one just came out, but he plays like a knight in medieval Bavaria, the Holy Roman Empire. It's really nerdy game, but I've been playing that all the time whenever I'm not doing school or football. So it's my go-to game.
I just love that you embrace it. Okay, does anybody else join you in this? Have you converted any of your other teammates?
I'm trying to get some guys. I think I'm the only one that knows about it right now on the team, but I'm trying to get a few guys to try it out. We'll see. So.
Okay, favorite meal, especially before you play a football game?
If I can cook the meal, I like just making a good 8-ounce or 10-ounce ribeye with some asparagus and either corn or mashed potatoes or baked beans. Just a nice protein-heavy, red meat. Love all that. So.
Okay, and finally, do you have any superstitions?
Ooh. I don't know. I always listen to the same music for every game. I've never been a super superstitious, do the same thing. I have my routine pre-game where it's I gotta wear my tape a certain way or wear the same cleats, because if I get comfortable with one pair of cleats, I can't switch, or else what if I'm not comfortable? So just little stuff like that, I guess, but not super superstitious though.
Just a little stitious, and that's one of Jake Retzloff's favorite quotes is, "I'm just a little stitious," with the Michael Scott right there. Yep. Okay. Out of curiosity, what's the music that you typically go to get in the mindset?
It's either heavy metal, it's some Metallica, Pantera,
old school rock.
Oh yeah, old school. Not too. And then I also like some rap too, some 21 Savage and stuff like that. So I'm all over the place with my music. So.
Yeah, I like it. A Renaissance man over here, Carsen Ryan. Carsen, it's been great to get to know a little bit about you. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.